Hi there. The purpose of this video is to walk through the pen tool lesson where we draw a flower. So I'm going to start off by going with a web document. Let's see, let's create a new one. That's fine there. And we're going to start by creating the guides. So I'm just going to drag over from the right until I get about to the center, and when I get exactly to the center, look at my arrows there turn white, so that's 960 pixels, half of 1980. I'm going to do the same thing from the top, drag down to about the halfway point, and I can see right there, there's the halfway point right there. Okay. So I have my guides. I'm going to lock that layer so that I can't change them, and then I'll add another layer. I'm going to name layer 1 guides, and layer 2 I'll name center of the flower. Okay, so now I'm going to use the Ellipse Tool, which is the L key, Ellipse Tool, and I'm going to start right in the center. And then hold down Shift and Option, and what that will do, Shift constrains to a circle, Option draws out from the center. So if here's Option, draws from the center, but it's not constrained, right? If I add the Shift, it constrains to a circle. Now if I just do Shift, it constrains to a circle, but it draws from where I started, but I want the center to be where I started. So Control Shift, right? And I want this to be maybe, some number of pixels. It says 150. Let's say in this case 300. I'm going to do 300 pixels here, okay? The number of pixels doesn't really matter as long as it's about that size on your screen. Now I'm going to lock that layer, add another one, and call this layer Petals, because we're going to draw the petals here. And this is the whole trick, really, to this whole lesson here. So I'm going to go to the pen tool, that's the P on the keyboard right here, and I'm going to start. Now look at my cursor, see how it's got the star? That means that it's going to, that's either the first or the last point in my continuous line. I can draw a continuous line with a pen. So I'm going to start with my continuous line, and I'm going to point right here and drag up. I'm going to drag straight up. Now, I notice what happens here is I'm getting the handles. I get one handle going one way and another going the other way. That's just the vector handles. That means that I'm going to, if I drag up, oh gosh, sorry about that. I think it's a screen draw problem. If I go up, the other is going to go down, and then the second point that I draw will come up from here. Okay, so it's good. You have to notice what direction do you want your next point to go. Okay, and we want our flower petals to come out from the center. So we're going to go out from the center. Now look at that handle that's going straight down, and I want it to stop right in the center, like that. Let me change. I'm going to go back to. I'm going to change the color of my. I'll change this to dark blue so I can see that a little better. Now you can see I drew straight up, and I want the other end to go to the center, and that's when I know when to stop. So now I'm going to come over here to about 45 degrees, and you don't have to be exactly right. But in this case, as soon as I click, I get my petal. But the trick here is I got to drag back to the center because I want the curve to come back here. Right now, if I did this is what the curve would look like. But I want, of course, this to come back. So then I want this to come to the center here, and that gives me my first petal. Now the next trick is how do I draw the next point, which I want to be here. But because this vector line, this handle is coming to the center. If I click here, it's that curve's going to come here and curve this way. Well, so what we have to do is move this point back to this, to bend it back on itself to match this one. And the tool that we need for that is this tool right here, Change Direction tool. So that's you get this tool by holding down the Option key. So hold down the Option key or Alt key on a PC, a Windows. This Option on a Mac. Okay, so I'm going to drag that point. So I can drag it back, and I want to put it right on top. I'm getting my screen draw problem again here. Drag it right on top of the other one, more or less, right there. Now, the next time I draw my next point, I can pull this back to the center, hold down my Shift key to constrain again to 45-degree angles. And I'm going to repeat that again. Hold down Option to pull this handle back on top of itself. Come back to my next pedal about 45 degrees. Hold down Shift, drag to the center. I'm going to get about to the center. In fact, if I don't, I don't have to hold down Shift. Okay, but then I do need Option again or Alt to bend my handle back on itself. Draw the next pedal coming up towards the center. Hold down Shift to constrain. Alt or Option to bend the handle back on itself. Come to 45-degree angle about right there or so. Shift and draw back towards the center. Alt or Option to bend this one back outside so that our next point will come. Click here. The next curve will come out like that. We'll Shift to constrain like that. Option or Alt to bend our handle back. Click at about 45 degrees. Shift. Come up into the center again. Alt or Option to bend that point back on itself. And the last one, now check out the last one. Look at that little circle there. See how the little white arrow becomes a white circle. That means that we will, if we click here, it will close the path. Now we want to do that, but we don't just want to click, we want to drag. In this case, well, okay. Oh, you know what what we can do here is we'll do this and then use our Option Alt to pull this, drag this back on itself here. All right, so there we're done. There is our flower, okay? We can hide the guides. That looks pretty good. And now we can use, say, unlock our center. We click on our circle. Then we can do our fill colors here. Here's our fill color. We want it to be red or something. And then our petals, we can fill those with yellow or whatever. Oh, let's put the petals below the center. There we go. So we've got a nice little flower there. Hope this helps. Thanks.